Welcome everyone to our show on how to help small business to win corporate clients. I'm your host, Sandra D'Souza, and today on the show we have Paul Farmer from Mentorist Group, who's going to talk to us about importance of USP, which is unique selling proposition for corporate clients. Hi Paul, welcome to the show.
Morning team, how are we doing?
Good. It's so great to have you on the show and to hear what you're going to share with us. And as you know, for some of you who've been listening to the show, I don't read out bios. And so in this case, I would love you, Paul, to tell us a little bit about yourself, of who you are, and also about the services you provide.
Absolutely. And first of all, thank you for having me on. Any opportunity for me to be able to speak about adding value to small businesses is an opportunity that I take every single time, because I just love speaking about small business and how to create value for other small business owners, because being a small business owner myself, I know what it's like to try and look at bigger organizations and get a little bit overawed with, oh, they're huge. How do I actually have a conversation with someone in an organization like that? So to be able to speak today on, even if someone gets one little gold nugget from today, my job is done.
Oh, thank you, Paul.
So, yeah. So I'm here to give you as much as I can in the time that we've got. And as I say, if there's one little thing that someone takes away, then that for me is why I do what I do.
Awesome, Paul. Well, we can't wait to hear about what you do.
I can't wait to tell you about what I do.
So yes, sorry, a quick intro of your background.
Quick intro. So you may not see it, but I'm a qualified accountant. I wanted to be a physical education
and there's
teacher.
nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong to be a qualified accountant. I don't want to accidentally interrupt you, but yes, please continue.
Yes, 100%. So I am a qualified accountant. I wanted to be a PE teacher because I have a love for sport. I didn't want to go through the first year teaching because I can't paint, I can't play a musical instrument, and at that time, that's what was required to be able to then specialise, but I didn't want that. So I thought, well, what else was I good at? Accounting. And so I worked in small to medium-sized businesses, but then also worked with large corporates in a second-tier accounting firm based here in Brisbane. I was there for 3 years, went overseas and worked for large oil and gas organisations as an accountant. Came back, worked again in a large Canadian oil and gas company that was based in Brisbane. And then decided in 2015 that there was something that I wanted to do that was not corporate related, which was helping people be able to do things they couldn't currently do. And at that point in time, I felt like I wanted to do that for myself. Which I find now is starting to resonate with so many people, because they've also found that they've built their background has been in corporate, but then it's something that you sit there and go, well, it's in corporate, I get it, but it's not for me. Yeah. It's not for me. It's for someone else. So I decided to start my own business, and it was in mentoring and coaching. And so now what I do is I spend my time helping small business owners see what's possible, but also interact with organizations to get them to understand what it is that your skill is, and how to show a small business owner, get clear on what is the stuff that A, we love to do, but also B, what's the stuff that is going to add value to organizations that are bigger organizations. And so my days are now taken up spending time with business owners, helping them get clear on how they can, A, understand who they really want to work with, who is good business, and then also how to have conversations with bigger business to look at growing their business. And I love it.
Oh,
so if I bring energy, that's what I do.
I think that's great, Paul. I think it's amazing that not many people have that, I guess, epiphany and the courage to change, because you can be quite comfortable in your comfort zone and think, well, I don't like it, but I have to stay in it. And what you've done is you've taken the courage to do something that you're passionate about. So that's awesome, and helping lots of people, which is great. And I guess that's why we're here on the show. So with
Yeah.
with that experience and background, do you want to share with us in your experience when it comes to engaging corporate clients, either through your business or in the past, being in corporate as well?
The interesting thing that I found over the last 12 to 18 months is, and it took me a while to realize this, but corporate businesses are full of humans.
So true.
It, it, it's, it's so groundbreaking, it's not funny. But for me, I've always perceived corporate as being a machine.
Mm,
It's a machine that there's a lot of red tape, there's a lot of agenda, there's a lot of having to jump through hoops to get things done. And for me, having worked in that space, that was the experience was that there was always someone trying to get something, but there was very little recognition, or there was very little investment in the actual person.
mm,
So standing on the outside looking in, I've realized that there are, rather than being a machine, there are a bunch of humans that are actually driving the machine. And so recognizing that, it's allowed me to be able to look at businesses and go, well, there's a human there that actually has a pain point. That it might be that they need coaching, or it might be that they're frustrated that they're not getting promoted, or they're not being developed, or they're not getting what they need within that business. And so looking at that and going, okay, well, if I'm, for example, if I was looking at doing a strategy day for a corporate client, which I do,
yeah.
then for me, if I was thinking about it on the perspective of, well, the corporation would like this and the corporation would like that, then I'm missing the ultimate piece, which is that there is someone in that organization that is going to be tasked with the strategy of the business.
Mm,
And their pain point is that the expectation on them is that they will deliver a roadmap to how they can grow to their board. So you've got someone that's sitting there internally that may not have the resources to be able to do what they need to do. And so, but they still have the expectation that they're going to deliver
yeah.
the strategy.
Yeah.
So then for me, it's about how do I show that person that I can help them?
Mm,
I can help them with the pain point they've got of being able to deliver something, but they don't at the moment have the skills to be able to do that,
yeah.
or the resources.
Yeah.
So a lot of what I do now is about tying things to feelings and emotion, which means when you're having a conversation with someone in an organization that may be a corporate organization, then treating them like a human and connecting on that element of, so what are your pain points relating to, and we'll say strategy in my case, because that's what I look at.
Yeah.
You know, what are your pain points around strategy? Well, we've had some changes in our business, and we don't really know how to pull it together. And it's like, well, why is that a pain point? Well, we've got the expectation that we'll deliver to the board in 2 months' time.
Mm,
So then for me, it's getting clear on what are the pain points of the people within that organization, and looking at the skills that I have and go, well, how do I show them that I can solve their pain point?
yeah. Yeah.
Because then, and this is the kicker, and maybe this is the gold nugget that people might take away, I don't know. But for me, it's the feeling they get. It's not this thing that they get, it's the feeling that they get once they've been able to deliver to the board.
Yeah.
And so it's tying that feeling to what you are asking people to sign on for. That's the piece that's the real value. If we've got someone in a corporate organization and they're the procurement people and they're looking to get a piece of work done, then there are expectations on them for delivery.
Mm.
If you can look at that and say, well, that's something I can deliver for that person, I can deliver that, but if you can show them how you can make them feel once it's been delivered, as a human, I'm going to sit there, I'm going to go, oh, that's what I want.
Mm.
I want the feeling of certainty that you are going to deliver what you say you're going to deliver in the time and the cost bracket that you say you can deliver it. What would that give someone? It gives them certainty, which gives them comfort that they can then deliver what's expected of them by using you.
That's when you talk about the gold nugget, that's definitely a nugget there, because I asked this question in the previous shows, and everybody has their different, I guess, perspective or experience, and but from yours is very unique in a way. Not the people. There is some that talks about the people, but you're talking about the emotion, the actual emotion to tap into of the corporate client on helping them to succeed, and that emotion is what, it's that connection that you aim for in order to support them and be able to give them what they want in a commercial environment.
100%, because that's why I say it wasn't until I recognized that corporations are made up of humans that I realized that this is where the real value of being able to show how your skills can help someone create that feeling that they want.
Yeah.
And it's the feeling that people want. It's not, you go to the shop and you buy an ice cream. It's not the ice cream that you want. The ice cream makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's the feeling that you want.
Yeah.
That's what you're after. So for me, once I recognized that in a corporate sense, this existed, it was just in a different format to where it exists in a small business, because it's covered up by layers of people and red tape and whatever. But it's even more important in corporations because there's less of it.
Wow. Yeah. So
and it's something that most corporations it's not wrapped up about the feelings or the emotions or whatever. And it's sometimes people go, well, it's a bit strange. There's an accountant talking about feelings, but the reason I do it, and the reason I get so passionate about it, is because I'm designed to help people. And by helping small businesses be in a position where they can help someone in a corporation, whereby you can have someone that is charged with delivering a $750,000 project, there's a lot of pressure on that person.
Yeah.
And if you can help them see that by using you, you're able to give them the feeling of happiness or certainty or whatever it is, then that person is going to go, oh, well, that's the thing that I want, as opposed to delivering a contract for $750,000. That's the vehicle, but it's the feeling that people want. That's the piece that people really are looking for, but they don't necessarily know that they're looking for that.
And it's amazing because when we talk about like unique selling proposition, people talk about like the branding, the colors, or a whole bunch of stuff, but yours is actually truly unique, and that is and tied into emotion. So this is really fascinating, Paul. So I guess I mean the next question is with that in mind and understanding that you've just said and how amazingly connecting it all together, what are the 3 tips, or what are the steps, I would say, that you would advise for small business owners to do?
So three things for me. And again, I rub my hands because I get excited.
I'm getting excited. I rub my hands too.
So for me, there's 3 things. One we've touched on, which is it's all about feeling and it's all about emotion. As humans, we buy, but we buy on emotion. So if you can make me feel good, and if you can make me feel important, and if you can make me feel like I'm going to be able to be seen to be important to those I'm reporting to on this project,
Yeah.
then you've got me. As opposed to sending in a tender with no emotion and nothing attached to it, and you just become a competition on price.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if you can tie some emotion to what you're doing and the conversations that you're having, then it becomes something that you're attaching you to the emotional side of the brain, which is the gatekeeper, as opposed to the logical side of the brain, which is, okay, well, we've got 5 tenders here. Which one do we go to? Well, let's go to price first. But if you can attach to the emotional side of the brain and hit that first and go, hey, this is going to make me feel good once I've let these guys do what they do, because they've said that they can deliver all of this. And I'm going to look good in front of my boss, which is going to make me feel great because I've delivered on the expectation that they want from me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to feel great. So for me, it's about feeling and about emotion. That's number one. And as I say, I get a little bit passionate, but you can see why.
I'm here, absorbing it all and nodding away. So
Yeah.
it's fascinating.
And number two, relationships matter.
Okay.
So talking to, it's funny that I mentioned the $750,000 contract. There was a company that I've been working with for a while, small company. They've just been awarded a $750,000 contract, and they realized 6 months ago that corporate space is designed around relationships.
Mm.
So if you've got project managers, they work in a trade space. So they've realized that they need to build relationships with project managers, because project managers move from project to project.
Yeah.
And ultimately what they tend to do is they tend to take the people that they know, like, and trust with them to the next one, and the next one, and the next one. Yeah. So in a corporate space, it's less about it's less about the traditional networking, and it's about building relationships with people that are in the space that you are able to connect with, to be able to have them refer you into their space. And then project managers talk to project managers, procurement people talk to other procurement people, and people in the corporate space talk to other people in the corporate space. Yeah. So then once you're able to then build relationships, they potentially will then refer you to other people in their space, because you've taken the time to give them the know, like, trust, and also connect on a feelings basis with the people in those businesses. So feelings and emotion is one. Two is relationships matter. Yeah. The third one is, and it's probably relevant for a lot of businesses at the moment, because for me, a lot of businesses are in survival mode. Mm. And staying in survival mode means that you will stay in survival mode. Yeah. But having one eye on growth, one eye on what's next, one eye on, yes, I'm doing what I need to do now to be structured, but I also need to think about, well, who do I really want to work with, and how do I continue to get in front of them so I can have the conversations, so that in 6 months' time, my hopper of opportunities is continuing to fill. Yeah. But if I spend all my time focusing on survival, then I take my eye off that go forward growth piece, which ultimately is the piece that is going to allow you to continue to grow. So having one eye on what's coming, to go, what are the conversations and the relationships and the feelings that I need to build now to be able to grow on a scale that is within the growth pattern that you would like. So for me, they're the three things from an ultimate selling point, is being able to have people see why you are the one that can actually deliver that in your own way, which then relates to them.
It's fascinating, and I know I use this word fascinating a lot in this show with you. of a very different perspective from having spoken to many, and even my own experience, that the survival mode and growth mode. I mean, that is, it seems like it's a natural thing that most people believe, that when you run a business and when you own a business, you're just in survival mode. And especially in this COVID pandemic, environment that we're in, the news, the media, everything is all talking about survival mode and how do we survive, and we're uncertain about our future and things like that. But yet, there's still a lot of companies that are growing phenomenally. And it doesn't matter whether it's just about, yes, even in hospitality, there's some that are also doing well. And but the majority of the industry is completely obliterated.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying mindset is the issue, but the mindset contributes a lot from what we've seen with businesses that manage to pivot and change and be in a growth mode because they're focusing on growth and not just in surviving and playing victim, I guess.
Bingo. And that word that you use there, victim,
Mm.
you can either be the victim or you can take 100% ownership of what happens in your space.
Yeah.
And the guys that got that contract that I just mentioned 18 months ago, they were closer to the victim stage because they were looking at all of the things that others were doing and saying, well, that, they did that, that's nothing to do with us, but they weren't getting work.
Yeah.
So then they've turned around, they realized that if it's, and there's a great mentor that I have who, if it's meant to be, it's up to me.
I like that saying. If it's meant to be,
So,
it's up to me.
yeah. So if I take 100% ownership of everything that's in my space, I create and I influence the things that happen in my space. If other people do something and I don't have control over it, I can control what happens in my space.
Yeah.
So if I choose to react in a certain way, then, if we go to a company, a corporate company, and we go to them and we have a conversation with them and they go, well, we're going to go with someone else, then I can either, whinge and moan about the fact that I didn't get the contract, or I can actively go, can you give me some feedback about the way that we, where we sit? Are we too expensive? Are we too cheap? Did we give you enough? Obviously, we didn't give enough information to show you why we should be the ones who get the contract. Yeah. So then if I take ownership, then I could quite easily sit back and go, well, they didn't want us anyway. And it would, or I can go, well, I want to find out everything about what we can do. So as we can then ensure that the next time we tender or the next time we go and have a conversation, we're in a space where we're able to tie into those learnings.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which becomes really powerful. It becomes really powerful because then you start to understand what the corporate clients want and how they want it. And then you can also find out that they 9 times out of 10 are devoid of emotion or feeling. And that gives you an opportunity to be able to tie that into the conversations you're having with people, because it's quite easy to say, tell me about the pain points about the people that you're working with at the moment. Well, that, we've got the expectation we're going to be doing this, but they don't deliver, or they don't do this or this. And corporate is wrapped up in victim mentality because, everyone's looking to push someone under a bus.
Yeah.
Corporately, how do you get up the corporate ladder? You step on someone's shoulders. It's like, it's the easiest way to get up. So for me, it's about being in a space where if we own what we do, and if we take what we do and go, well, we're going to take 100% ownership of us and our business, then we learn from where someone says no, because then the next time we then go, but we go with the understanding of why that was a no.
Okay. Well, that's amazing. Yeah. I think that, and with your case study that you just talked about, that's evidence to show how, how those tips and the unique selling points that you talked about has really helped them to grow their business phenomenally in a short amount of time. I mean, 18 months sounds like a long time, but in the corporate sales cycle, it's not really. And to turn that around from a small business to where they're at, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing.
And the best thing is the best thing is they are just the nicest blokes you'd ever meet,
Oh, I
which
like
is,
that.
oh, yeah, bit of feeling.
And Paul, we can just keep talking and keep going. And maybe if you're interested, I do this because I know it can be quite common. Is that we can always have you back on the show on a different topic, similar around the emotions, but certainly it's been amazing to have you on the show. But before I guess we finish off, you mentioned to me that you have a special offer for our audience today.
Yeah. So what we tend to do is look at working with businesses on a monthly basis, and so generally we look at a program. Would be a 6-month program, which would be $1,200 a month. But today, then we can make it $900 a month over the 6 months for anyone that references your podcast and comes through your channels. Then we're able to do that for $900 as opposed to $1,200.
Thank you, Paul. That's very generous of you. Really do appreciate you making this special offer for our audience. Look, everybody, I mean, you just listened to Paul insights and what he's talking about, and you can tell that Paul is an amazing coach and an example he gave with one of his clients. So if I were you, I would take up on his offer. And so, Paul, if somebody wants to take up on your offer, what's the best way to contact you?
They can. My website is mentorusgroup.com.au.
Yep.
I'm on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or email strategy@mentorusgroup.com.au. And if they wanted to reference Feelings 101, then if they want to reference that, then that'll ensure that that they can get that discounted price just for the people that see the podcast for you today.
Oh, cool. I like Feelings 101, or even mention my name, Sandra. How about that?
And Sandra, done.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay, well, I guess that's it. That's the end of an amazing show. Thank you, Paul, again for such amazing insight knowledge to share with us, and just those golden nuggets that you've given us, I think will help a lot of us to learn about the emotional aspect when it comes to engaging with corporate clients. So we really appreciate your time today.
My pleasure. Thank you. And remember, corporate is full of humans.
That's true. Thanks, Paul. Thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show, and I look forward to see you next time. Bye.